Well, there's lots to jump into this evening, of course. But I want to jump into something that nobody else is likely to jump into because it involves me. And I don't like to do this show about me. But sometimes I just have to. I don't know who Ollie Alexander is. I never heard of him. Apparently he's an organizer or the top guy over at something called Stop the Steal. Maybe I'm naive. I didn't know what Stop the Steal was. Well, whatever it is, it is. But I want to play something for you that Mr. Producer found and showed me and played for me, and I thought I'd play it for you. Ollie Alexander, cut 17, go.
So anyway, I say all that to say that Merrick Garland is I like who said this? Oh, Mark Levin said this. Mark Levin is at the top of his game. You know, Mark Levin has never been better than he is now. So hats off to him. But I would never buy his book. I wanted to. I thought about it yesterday, but then I was like, this guy's going to piss me off through half the book because Mark Levin is inherently a foreigner. You know, he's Jewish. He's a foreigner in kind of his ethos. So the way he talks about the Democrat Party is a different way than I, a son of the South, a son of Texas, a son of American slavery, a child of American slavery. I would talk about the Democrat Party in a better contextual American way than a foreign person like someone who's Turkish or Jewish or any of the issues or the ites, you know? They just, you know, it's like when people like try to blame slavery on the Democrat Party, it's like, that's not just an un-American argument, it's an inhumane argument. Slavery existed everywhere.
Yes, slavery existed everywhere. But one party embraced it and one party didn't. But that's not my point. I'm not interested in engaging this guy. He's a moron. But I just play this for you folks, just so you know. This never goes away. This never goes away. Yes, I'm Jewish. My grandfather who fought in World War II at Iwo Jima in Guam, he was Jewish. My great-uncle who fought in Guadalcanal, he was Jewish. I can go through all this. I don't have to prove my family's patriotism and love for this country, which is boundless. Boundless. I don't know who this guy is. I don't care that he doesn't buy my book. Who cares? But I'm Jewish, so I'm inherently a foreigner. And that's the argument? And I just wanted to point that out to you. Again, I don't know what Stop the Steal is, a Stop the Steal organizer, a guy that runs Stop the Steal. I do know what he's saying. I'm not a fool. I know what he's saying. He wants to defend the Democrat Party of slavery. Slavery was everywhere. Well, you can explain the context for slavery in the United States. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it should be done. I believe it should be done. There's no defending it. But it's not as if the United States, there it is, the one country that was practicing slavery. They still practice slavery in the Middle East. They still practice slavery in Africa. Great. But what's the point? That I'm Jewish, so I don't know what's going on or how to define these things? Now, most of you in the audience are not, and I understand that. We still love each other. We still respect each other. But I just want people to understand, and I think most of you do, there's no escaping this for me. There's just not. I hear it on the left, and I don't know what this guy is. What political persuasion he claims or he clings to. I'm sure the media will dig it up and say, oh, it's a Trump guy. Donald Trump and I get along magnificently. And he's Jewish daughter, Jewish son-in-law, Jewish grandkid. Can't say the same thing for Biden, by the way, or Obama. But again, the point is, it doesn't matter what I say, doesn't matter what I write, doesn't matter who I am. When people do something like this, they attempt to dehumanize you. Oh, he's a foreigner, he's Jewish. I'm not a foreigner. I'm an American. And I'll always be an American. Now, all of us, our ancestors come from somewhere. 500 years ago, America wasn't filled with people who have ancestry from Europe. 600 years ago. In fact, many of the people who claim to be indigenous in this country, and I would argue are, even their ancestors, many of them weren't here. John Locke wrote about America over 500 years ago, about his philosophy, which served as the basis for the Declaration of Independence and our Revolutionary War. And some of his detractors in Europe said, this place that you talk about, or these theories that you talk about, and this, remember, was the philosopher had the most influence over our Revolutionary War, and whose arguments were borrowed by many when they wrote their various, with the National Declaration of Independence, the various state declarations of independence. It was Locke who they focused on. And they said, where is this place where your ideas even exist? He said, America. Why America? America is a clean slate. Europe is not. Asia is not. The Middle East is not. But America, yes. The civil society, the social contract that he wrote about, it's America. This fledgling little place in North America. There were no colonies back then. Certainly no states. What we call the United States today was barely populated. So this guy appears to me to be an African American, Mr. Producer. Does he not to you in the audio? So he says, the way I talk about the Democrat Party is a different way than I, a son of the South. Son of the South? Was the South separate and apart from the rest of the continent? And when did that start? A son of Texas. A son of American slavery, a child of American slavery. I would talk about the Democrat Party in a better contextual American way than a foreign person. Someone who's Turkish or Jewish. This guy's a pig. He's a bastard. Nothing I say, nothing I care to say, is intended to persuade him of anything. The idea that I'm not going to read the book because he's Jewish, because he doesn't really understand the Democrat Party. Oh, I understand it better than most, trust me. And those 65 pages of notes and endnotes, the people who are cited, the philosophers, the historians, the people who experienced what the Democrat Party did to them, things that they wrote, things that they said, were they all Jewish too? No, the vast majority of people who are cited in the notes were not Jewish. I thought I'd just point that out to you. Ali Alexander. You never heard of him before? I hadn't either. Now hopefully millions and millions of people know who Ali Alexander is. Just another Jew hater.